Imagination creates reality. The night shift. The first thing anyone noticed about Atlas Sterling was his hands. They moved like they were conducting an invisible orchestra, even when he was just making coffee. With skin the color of burnished mahogany and dreadlocks woven with threads that seemed to glimmer like constellations, he worked the night shift at Starlight Brew alongside Sage, creating drinks that tasted like forgotten dreams and remembered futures. Imagination isn't about fantasy, he would say in his deep, melodic voice that carried hints of Caribbean rhythms. It's about remembering what's already real somewhere. Sage would smile at this, her purple hair shimmering in harmony with Atlas's starlit dreads, as they served their special brews to souls who wandered in carrying heavy realities and left floating on reimagined ones. Tonight, their visitors were three. Malik Washington, 42, sat hunched over his laptop, desperately trying to save his family's restaurant. 3 generations of soul food history were about to be erased by gentrification and a rent increase he couldn't possibly meet. His grandfather's recipes and his mother's stories were all he had left, and soon those might just be memories too. Beside him, Harmony Chen Martinez, 29, stared at her phone, watching her wedding savings drain away as she paid for another round of her father's medical bills. Her fiancé was patient, but her dream of a perfect ceremony, the one thing she'd allowed herself to want extravagantly, was dissolving like sugar in bitter tea. In the corner, Trevor O'Keefe, 36, gripped his cold coffee with trembling hands. 6 years sober, and today he'd walked past his old bar twice. His sponsor wasn't answering, his anxiety medication had run out, and the publishing house had just rejected his recovery memoir. Again. Time for a refresh, Atlas announced, his hands dancing through the air as he moved among them. Where Sage's energy was starlight and twilight, his was earth and rhythm, grounding even as it uplifted. Tonight's blend, Sage added, is what Madame Vesper called reality's clay. For those who need to remember they're the sculptors of their own lives. I'm not a sculptor, Malik muttered. I'm a chef watching my legacy crumble. Atlas paused by his table, his hands sketching patterns that seemed to leave traces in the air. Tell me, brother, when you create a new dish, do you start with what's missing or what's possible? Malik hesitated. I start with the feeling I want people to have when they taste it. Exactly. Atlas's smile was like sunrise. So tell me, what's the feeling at the heart of your restaurant? Not the building, not the location, the essential feeling people come seeking? Home, Malik answered without hesitation. They come to feel like they're coming home. Then close your eyes and feel that, Sage instructed, placing a cup before him that smelled like Sunday dinners and grandmother's kitchen. Feel it so real that everything else becomes the illusion. Meanwhile, Atlas moved to Harmony, his hands weaving through the air as if plucking invisible threads. And you, sister? What's the real dream under the dream wedding? Harmony blinked back tears. Unity. Bringing together all the pieces of my life, Chinese, Latina, modern, traditional. Showing my dad that his sacrifice led to something beautiful. Atlas nodded. Then let's feel that unity. Not plan it, feel it. Feel it already done. He placed a cup before her that changed colors like an opal, smelling somehow like both her grandmother's dim sum and her abuela's tamales at once. Trevor watched them work, his hand steadier now but his eyes still haunted. Can you imagine away addiction? He asked bitterly. Sage and Atlas shared a look that seemed to contain entire conversations. It was Atlas who answered, his hands finally still. No, brother. But you can imagine into reality the strength that's already yours. Your story isn't about imagining away the darkness, it's about imagining into existence the light you've been carrying all along. The cup they placed before him seemed to pulse with its own inner glow. Now, Sage announced, we're going to do what Madame Vesper called reality sculpting. Close your eyes, all of you. Feel what's already real in the reality you choose to inhabit. Atlas's hands began moving again, and the air in the coffee shop grew thick with possibility. Malik, feel the essence of your restaurant as it truly is, beyond walls and locations. Feel the community it creates, the memories it holds, the future it serves. Malik gasped softly as the feeling washed over him, not just memories of the past, but the living presence of what his restaurant truly was. In that moment, the building seemed irrelevant compared to the spirit of what he'd created. Harmony, Sage continued, feel the unity that already exists. Feel every apparent contradiction finding its harmony. Feel the perfection in what is. Harmony felt it, the beauty of her blended heritage, the power of her mixed traditions, the way love transcended every boundary. Her perfect wedding wasn't about centerpieces and venues anymore, it was already happening in the depths of her heart. Trevor, Atlas's voice carried the weight of Earth itself, feel your unshakable center. Feel the strength that brought you this far. Feel the power of your story, not as you wish it were, but as it truly is. Trevor felt something shift inside him, not the absence of struggle, but the presence of an immovable core of strength he'd forgotten he possessed. Weeks passed. Malik's restaurant found a new home in a historic building whose owner, moved by the history of soul food in the city, offered him a partnership instead of a lease. The new location had a courtyard for live music and community gatherings, something he'd always dreamed of but never thought possible. Harmony's wedding transformed into a beautiful celebration in her father's hospital garden. The simplicity highlighted rather than hid her mixed heritage, and the money saved helped with both the medical bills and a down payment on a home. Her father's smile that day was better than any elaborate ceremony. Trevor's memoir was picked up by a small recovery-focused press. "We published truth, not triumph," the editor said, and Trevor realized his story was powerful precisely because it didn't pretend struggle wasn't real. His hands still shook sometimes, but now they shook while signing books at recovery meetings. They still came to Starlight Brew, watching Atlas's hands paint possibility in the air while Sage brewed dreams into reality. Sometimes other visitors would ask about the mysterious pair who seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. "Are they angels?" someone once asked Malik. "Better," he smiled. "Their imagination made real, reminding the rest of us we can do the same." And in the corner of the ever-shifting coffee shop, a new sign appeared, written in letters that seemed to be sculpted from stardust and earth: "Imagination creates reality, but the real secret is this: what you can feel, you can heal. What you can imagine, you already are."